Are you ready, ready?
Welcome to the Boom Room as we get ready to head into week 11. It look like things are starting to take shape and we can see better what's going on. Well, having said that, let's talk about what's going on. And what should have been a delicious matchup between Lincoln Legends and Arizona Ryan turned out to be a little less than that. Arizona Ryan, without his two receivers, Cooper Kupp and Michael Thomas, still put up a violent effort, but it wasn't enough as Lincoln Legends took it by 13. I got a feeling these two teams might see each other again with higher stakes on the line. And another game that looked more interesting than it did 2 weeks ago, Machiavellian's looking for his third consecutive victory going against TNT. However, TNT beat them by a whopping 71 points. TNT's strong seasons just keeps rolling on. And a mild surprise, El Cajinos lost to the North by 5 points. He rolled the dice and it came up snake eyes on his decision to play Adam Thielen. He went back to Aaron Rodgers this week after playing Kirk Cousins the last 2 weeks. He should have played him the last 3 weeks. I know when Amari Cooper caught that long touchdown on Monday night, he thought he had it, but he didn't. Hey, let's take this time to get the North a little love. It's been a tough season over there. He's been getting, laughed at a little bit, but at this point, he's only one game out of the 5 seed. Way to keep battling. Much respect. Another good game on the schedule was the Higher Power versus Bread Inc. It wasn't a good game, but it was a close game. This was the first time the Patriots defense didn't show up for the Higher Power. Bread Inc. was led by newly acquired Mike Evans 2 weeks in a row with huge games. That trade is paying immediate dividends for Bread Inc. We counted him out. We thought 2 weeks ago he might be in trouble. Now it looks like he's sitting pretty. Bread Inc. starting to round into form. And the surprise of the week, Whipping That Ass did just that to G5, handed G5 his 4th consecutive loss. Strong games from Jacobs, from the newly acquired Emmanuel Sanders, from the Cowboys D propelled Whipping That Ass to a 57-point victory. Woo! It might be time for G5 to hit the panic button over there. Not only have they lost 4 in a row, he closes the season out against TNT, Jabronis, Arizona Ryan, and Bread Inc. Yikes. Woo! Patrick Mahomes can't get back quick enough. Now on 2. The game of the week. Oh, it was Smack Talk bulletin board material this week as Fast went to the Smack board saying, hey, what's my record against the Jabronis? He wanted everybody to know that he was 7-2 lifetime against the champ. The champ didn't take too kind of that, saying, I never took him seriously, but since you want to run your mouth, bet something. Negro said, you ain't saying nothing, bet 50. The champ said, done. And what was an entertaining game. Negro came out there, got 34 points from Lamar Jackson. Might have been a little unexpected going against the Patriot defense. He got a solid game from Melvin Gordon. I know he was expecting a little bit more from Zeke, and I know Stephon Diggs just let him down. The champ responded like he always does when you come at him. He got a north from his quarterback, Russell Wilson. Got 28 points from Zach Ertz. I know that was a welcome sight. The champ does what the champ does. Scoring 165 points, that would have beat anybody this week. I know the champ was saying, cha-ching. Hey, it was a good game, very entertaining. And that's our wrap up for the week. Now, having said that, let's show a little love. I know all the time we be on here and we always look at, what people can do or how they don't succeed. I'll give you a perfect example. Ben Simmons. We always talk about what he can do, but the guy's a hell of a basketball player with what he can do. Now, having said that, I'm going to show a bit of love to Bread Inc. 2 weeks ago, I thought your season was on the verge. My algorithm, getting analytical, getting analytical, said, yo, you were in a must-win position and you have won your last 2 games, pulling off 2 major trades to get you back where you've always been. I don't think the rest of the league have noticed. Bread Inc., this is his 5th year in the league. Previous 4, he's been to the playoffs 3 of those years. He's been to the championship game twice, and the other year he lost in the semifinals. He's been a strong owner ever since he entered the league. I want to take this time out to say, Bread Inc., nice work. We see you. Hell of an owner. Boom. Now, I want to get a little Game of Thronesian. If you're like me, you didn't like the way the last season ended. And I think we have a lot of owners in this league that have things in common with certain characters from Game of Thrones. I like to call the commish or the higher power Jon Snow because everybody roots for him and wants to see him win. I like to call G5 Littlefinger because he thinks he can manipulate the board and does whatever he wants, but everybody sees right through him. Now here's the thing. This year it ended with Bran technically winning the Game of Thrones. So that got me thinking, who's the Bran this year? Somebody we don't see coming. Somebody that can win the throne, a la like the champ did last year coming out the 7th seed. And you know who I'm calling Bran? That's right. Arizona Ron. I think he's laying in the weeds. Nice team, good roster. He can play with anybody, got good flexibility. I think of the teams that we're not talking about, Arizona Ron could surprise some people. But having said that, if I wrote the show Game of Thrones, Bran would have got killed by the Nightwalker. I'm just saying. No, good luck, Arizona Ron. We see what you're doing over there. Keep it up. Last week, Lincoln Legends was here to discuss the IR rule, among other things. We also talked about some of the trades that were made in the league, but because the interview went kind of long about the IR, we didn't air it last week. So without further ado, we're going to air me and Lincoln Legends talking about some of the trades made during the season. Having said that, let's get to something a little bit light. Let's talk about some things that's been going on in the league since I got you here.
Oh, can I say we not overrated? We got the most wins all time. Shout out to El Cajinos. Most wins all time.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
Lincoln Legends.
Let's talk about some trades that's been going on in the league. Get your opinion on them. I'm gonna give my opinion on them. I'm gonna go back to the beginning. I'm gonna go to more the major trades. The first major trades I thought was G5 trading Will Disley and Lamar Jackson to Negro Realty for David Johnson. What was your initial thoughts in real time?
In real time, I wasn't happy with the trade, but I mean, when you look at it, like Negro Realty got two decent players out the trade. Like it's hard giving up a number one rated running back, but I feel like overall they're not valued in this league. Lamar Jackson and Will Disley would have gave him a decent number of extra points on a regular basis in this league, upgrades over those positions that he had going on. They would have significantly helped his team. And about the fact that he had Kerryon Johnson, he had a decent third running back at the time. Like I think it would have been a decent deal for Negro Realty, like something that they needed to do.
I would say this. When I first heard the trade, I thought Negro didn't get enough in return. I thought he gave up, as I said in the smack board, a premium RB1. I thought David Johnson could have got more in return. I wasn't as high on Disley. Like, I thought I needed to see a little bit more. But, I mean, I guess that was his choice. He thought, I seen enough. And to me, the Lamar Jackson, it was like, how many more points is Lamar Jackson going to score than your current quarterback? And to me, 3 or 4 points wasn't worth David Johnson. But having said that, let's go on to the second trade, which I thought, in my mind, made Negro look better after the first trade, which was trading Carson Wentz and Kerryon Johnson to Remember the North for Zeke Elliott. What was your thoughts on that trade in real time?
I felt like he was able to take advantage of Remember the North. Remember the North being in such a bad position, like had a rough draft, had to give up Ezekiel Elliott, and I think Negro Realty took advantage of it. So I wish I was Negro Realty at that point, able to get in on that deal.
I somewhat agree with you with that. But here's what I would say. Like you said, I just think Remember the North was just in a tough spot. He's basically playing week to week right now. He's trying to survive, keep his head above water. It was a good trade for Negro. If I'm going to kill you for the previous trade, I'm going to give you your props for that trade. I thought you did an excellent job with that one. Moving along, let's go with the two blockbusters that were made also. The first one is Mike Evans and Matt Breida. Jabroni traded them to Bread Inc. for Leonard Fournette and LaShawn McCoy. What was your thoughts on that trade?
I thought it balanced out. I think I think Brad ain't got the players that they needed in that deal. Like, I mean, he was shopping pretty heavily, trying to make a deal, in the position that they're in. And sometimes you got to make a deal. You're in a bad position. Like you said, they were fighting for a certain position at that point. Like, they were got a tough part of the schedule coming up. They needed to make a deal, and they got some players out the deal. I think who was it? Cardenas that made the deal, or Jabronis?
It was Jabronis and Brad with that.
Yeah, Jabronis thing. I think they jumped on it. They saw the opportunity to make a deal. Like Brad's always fishing to make some deals or whatever. It's just like he's gonna come in real high. It's like, can you counter him to something that you could work with? So, I guess I don't have an issue with the deal.
Without going in depth into this trade, here's what I think I would rather be Jabronis on this one. I think Fournette is going to pay off for him long term. Mike Evans, to me, like, this has always been my impression of Mike Evans. He's a souped up Deshaun Jackson. He's going to go off when you once every 3-4 weeks. He's going to hit you. You just got to avoid that 40-point game that he's going to give you. But he's going to give you the 8, the 10, the 8. For somebody that good, like, I want more from Mike Evans. But like I said, I understand the trade for Brad Inc. These two look like they were looking for balance, So I don't think either one of them got over. I just think long term, I think Fournette is going to be the more consistent player. Having said that, I'll let you get on this one first because I got intimate knowledge of this one. But the Nick Chubb and Scantling trade for T.Y. Hilton and David Montgomery.
I said this. It was a number one running back. I think Nick Chubb was in our top 10 running backs at this point.
Top 5.
Top 5.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. You legit had 3 of the top 5 running backs. You had to make a move. I guess I would have hoped you would have got something better for Nick Chubb about the deal. And now we get news that T.Y. Hilton is out for a couple of weeks, so it's going to hurt you a little bit. But I understand why you made the deal. You had to upgrade that wide receiving core. At the end of the day, I think it was fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with this. People were lowballing me for Chubby. They kept throwing the Kareem Hunt thing at me. I understand that Kareem Hunt was the elephant in the room, but I still believe that Nick Chubb is going to be the dominant back. I was looking at it like this. I definitely needed to upgrade my wide receiver. I don't think I had the wide receiver play to win a championship. And, I'm just hoping, if I'm, once the playoffs come around, if I can get 2 good games out of T.Y., look out. He can give me that big game, just don't lay the egg. I like it. Like I said, did I overpay? Absolutely. But the Kareem Hunt thing is real. And I was personally high on David Montgomery. I liked him before the draft. I wanted them with everything that's going on in Chicago. I really think that David Montgomery could be a league winner come playoff time. So did I give up more than I wanted to? Absolutely. But I thought it was fair, and it gives my team a chance in the postseason. Last one, which to me was a hair scratcher, and I just want your opinion on this, was El Cagino traded Tevin Coleman for for AJ Green, Mecole Hardman, and Greg Olsen. Your thoughts on that one?
I feel like he just jumped in on all the big trades that was going on. It was just like, I need to make trades for the effort of making trades. Like, I don't really understand that deal too well. To pick up AJ Green, I felt like at that point he already had his top 3 wide receivers. Mm-hmm. I don't think you need to go past. You can't start that 4th wide receiver. You just put in a position where you got to trade another player, or you got a player available for bye weeks, and when they end, then what happens? So,
yeah, the problem I'm having with Cagino's is he's operating like a 6-3 team when he's a 3-6 team. And as you said, to get the 4th receiver in AJ Green, you're not going to get true value for him because everybody knows that you have to move one of the receivers. Yeah. As you said, you can't play 4. I really didn't get the trade. Even plug and play Mecole Hardman, like, to go back to the argument we had earlier, I just think you can get somebody on the waiver wire that probably could have gave you what he gave you. Now, he did end up having a decent game, but he didn't even have a better game, I think, than DJ Metcalf, who was on his bench. And he could have, if he plays Metcalf keeps Tevin Coleman, plays Aaron Rodgers, he wins.
Yeah.
And it's been bad coaching. I know it seems like I'm piling on, but I just want you to see, like, these decisions is costing you a chance to be in the dance, man. That was an interesting conversation. It's a shame that he made a trade afterwards, and I guess I'll talk about it for a quick second. And that was him making a trade of Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler for James Conner and Jarvis Landry. Excuse me. I would say this. I didn't understand the trade from Negro's perspective because he was already thin at wide receiver, and he gave up a playable wide receiver for basically 2 running backs. So from that standpoint, I didn't understand it. I kind of understand it from a Legends perspective. He basically didn't want to play. I think this is just me guessing. He didn't want to go all in with the San Diego thing because it's kind of hard for both receivers to get off. And if San Diego has a bad game, boom. I don't understand what he needed Landry for. I don't know if that's a piece that he gonna flip because he already has 3 receivers that's much better than Landry. But hopefully one of them will call a boom line or one of them will be here and they can explain the dynamics behind that trade. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's show. I'm promising we're going to have a guest next week. Having said that, let's get prepared for the game of the week. It's kind of like a playoff game for one of the teams. We're going to go El Cagino's season on the line, 3-6, can't afford to lose anymore, or he's basically all but done. Going against the Red Hot Bread Inc. It should be a great game. Can't wait to see if El Cagino saves the season. Can't wait to see if Bread Inc. sends them fishing. We'll talk about it next week. We'll see you next week in the Boom Room.